and good morning from Proactive New York. Joining me today is Dan Hrushevsky, President and CEO at Blackjack Silver. Dan, good to meet you. How are you today?
Yeah, very nice. Very good, Christine. And how are you?
I am great. Thanks so much for asking. Dan, the group is actually privately held. Give us a quick introduction to the company.
Sure. So we've had the project for about a year and a half. It is private. It's in a private company, and we're looking to IPO. The project itself is sort of world class. Okay. So Blackjack Silver's Butte project controls the Butte, Montana mining camp, which is truly one of the great mining camps in the history of mining. Okay. For over 100 years, it was known as the richest hill on earth. And this is the asset that essentially made Anaconda the BHP of its day in the early 1900s. Just to give you a sense for the amount of metal that came out of this project, the amount of silver that came out of here exceeds 1/2 of the silver that came out of the silver district in Idaho, which is a 20-mile by 23-mile footprint. The total amount of metal that came out of this project exceeds 1/3 of the gold produced historically in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt. So this project provided or produced an incredible amount of metal. So it's a very intensely mineralized system. It's a mesothermal vein system on the periphery of, I think it's the 6th largest porphyry in the world. We don't have the porphyry, but we have the high grade vein system and the original Anaconda mine underground complex. So what makes this project unique? The intense mineralization, high grades. All these veins are very high grade, whether they're copper, zinc, silver, or gold, because we have all this metal. There's a zonation in the system, starting with copper. The closer you are to the porphyry, and as you move out, zinc, silver, and then gold, silver veins. And so high grade veins. We have over 300 million silver equivalent ounces in historical resources. And these numbers come from a report from Anaconda published after they stopped underground mining, and from a group that produced a small amount in 1990. In addition to this, we have great infrastructure. This is an active mine area. We're next to a 50,000 ton per day open pit mine, okay, producing copper, molybdenum, and silver. And we have all the infrastructure you'd expect, being right next to a large mining operation and being just outside of Butte, Montana. So we have rail, highway, power, water, roads, etc., and an active and a willing workforce. We have a very interested local governments. So Butte, Silver Bow County is very, very supportive. They want another operation to support the county economically. The state governor is very supportive of mining and economic progress in the state as well. So geopolitical risk, infrastructure, high grade, exploration potential. So we're just sort of scratching the surface. This area was mined for over 130 years, but as all old mining, it was not subject to the modern methods that we have today, modern exploration methods, modern mining methods. There's a lot of material that was left because they were going after the low-hanging fruit, and certain metals were not even sought after for most of the history of this mine. For example, zinc was not. So there's exploration potential along strike. There's exploration potential at depth. So, we're originally only looking for areas above the water table, so down to only 800 feet. And yet Anaconda mined to 5,200 feet. And mineralization continued to go at depth. So there's lots of, there's decades of fun here for everyone, both along strike, at depth, and also, I'll add that the silver gold veins on the periphery of the system were never mined commercially. So Anaconda did not mine them, and nor did anybody else. So this represents a significant exploration potential.
And in terms of progress that Blackjack has done here, you've completed a phase 1 and now you're planning a phase 2 drilling campaign. Is that right?
Correct. So we'll back up and we'll go right from the beginning. I mean, we've had this project for a year and a half. Slow start because of COVID, a cold winter, just getting the office running, and power and water and gas to the office and getting organized. But we spent the last probably over a year compiling, digitizing, and modeling the historical information. So 130 years or so of mining by a major created a lot of data, very, very meticulously generated. We compiled over 10,000 maps, if you can believe that, digitized them and put them into a 3D model, Vulcan mine planning software. So that was a huge accomplishment, and took a team of probably 6 people over a year to do. So that will feed, as of I believe today, we're doing a data handoff to our resource estimation, or third-party resource estimation engineers, who will create a 43101, a maiden 43101 resource estimate. And we're only focusing on the zinc silver veins and only above the water table. And we should have an outcome on the resource estimate in a month or 6 weeks, I think, from now. So if that resource estimate proves to be of a sufficient size and is of a sufficient continuity to support a underground, I want to call it a mid-sized underground operation, or a potential mid-sized underground operation, we may go into to do a PEA. So that's a preliminary economic assessment. Okay. At the same time, we'll initiate mine permitting, both long lead items and plus just the core of the application process. You mentioned that we completed a phase 1 drill program, so we drilled 8 holes. That feeds into the database. It's going into the resource estimate. So there'll be about 250 holes that'll form part of that resource estimate calculation, and that includes the 8 holes from phase 1. Phase 2 is in the planning stage, and so of course there's designing, surface access acquisition, permitting, drill contractor signing, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of work, and it's a longer process, but we are working on a phase 2 drill program as well. So that's sort of, we have our hands full, and a runway or a pipeline of value building activities as we de-risk the project.
And just quickly before I let you go, you mentioned planning an IPO. So where are you right now in that process?
Correct. So we've been speaking to various groups, both in the US and in Canada. There are interested parties. So we're waiting for a market window. So IPO is sort of it's not a solo event. You need 2 parties, so the company and the investor audience. And we're told that right now, the due to volatility in the markets, there's not an appetite for IPOs. So we're waiting for that market window to open. But in the meantime, we're not just waiting around for that. We continue to move up, conduct all the activities that will move the project up the value curve and generate shareholder value for an eventual IPO.
All right. Well, we look forward to following your progress. Dan, really good to speak with you. Thanks so much.
Yeah, good talking to you too, Christine. Thanks for having me.